Okay, I'd like to continue this now, but kind of from the client side point of view, meaning that JavaScript. So again, this is the same file that we had from before. What I want to do here is just let's mark this particular element here with the span tag. And a span tag here. And let's give it an ID. And the ID will be name. Let's save it. Now, from a point of view, a cosmetic point, you'll really see no change at all. Let's right click here. Oop, I have an error here. Unexpected t-string. Let's go to line 13. What's going here on line 13? Did I mess something up here? Because I have quotes here and quotes here, I have two options. I can escape these quotes or I can use single quotes. So for now, just to keep it easy, let's do single quotes here, single quotes there. That way they don't get confused with the outer quotes here. Let's save it, reload, and there it goes. Let's right click here and view source. And notice here, this is, you see the span tag here. Now the purpose of the span tag here is to actually mark the page so I can actually see, or I can actually access this through the document object model that we call it. Okay, so let's close it and I'll give you a perfect example. Here I'm using Google Chrome. Hit the F12 key for the toolbar here. I want you to realize is when Google is looking at this, this is the way it sees your particular page. This is actually the model that it sees. So I want to play around with a couple of keywords within JavaScript. So now we're going to put on our JavaScript hat and our HTML hat. So for a while, turn off your PHP hat. So for example here, if I type in document, hit enter, I want you to click on document. And basically what document represents is this entire page. It is the actual document. Okay? But I can't really do anything with a document. So think of it, if you took your car into a car shop and you say, hey, something's wrong with my car. The problem with that, it's too general. You got to tell them there's something wrong with the engine or the steering wheel is not working. You have to get to a specific object that you need to fix within that car. That's the same concept here. You have to find a specific object that you're looking for. So we have a couple of ways of doing this. So we'll play around with that. So the first way, since in the beginning, we know that Peter Parker here has the ID of name. So what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the commands to get it by name. So again, we're going to try to access the name here. So for example, if we type in document, document period get element by ID. Let's focus on that one. Get element. Okay, and an example of an element is the span tag. But the element that I want here by its ID is name. If we hit enter here, notice what it brings back. It says Peter because it could get it by the actual name, or in this case ID. But now I have access to a specific object. I have a couple of ways now that I can manipulate this data. So what we did in class, let's do var. I'll say here hero name is equal to documents dot get element by ID, and let's put in name here. Let's end it in semicolon, hit enter. It says undefined, but what this line has done is assign this particular value here to the left. Now hero name will contain this actual span tag. So for example, if I type in here hero name and hit enter, Peter Parker. Now I want you to realize if I asked you what's the data type of hero, you would have to tell me it's an element. The element that it is happens to be span. This is a complex object. I can do a lot of things with this. So for example, I can say here, hero name is equal to Spider-Man. Oh, sorry, I can't do that because it's not a string. I should be saying period inner HTML. And think of what that means. I'm going to go inside the HTML, the inner, and I'm going to slightly change something inside of it. Let's click here on enter. And if you look here, look what happened to Peter Parker. He's now Spider-Man. See with that? You were able to change the insides using JavaScript. And again, remember, this is happening on the client. This gives you a lot of power. Sometimes when you hear the term dynamic web pages or client-side scripting, this is what they're talking about. To be able to manipulate the changes on the client. This is, again, just the beginning, but this will separate you from a person who's just a server-side coder and a person who's just an SQL developer or a person who's just, I guess, a pure HTML developer. I'm hoping with these examples you get a little piece of each portion. Okay. So with that, I will stop there with this portion, and we will continue on this trip of JavaScript. Thank you, and see you in the next video.